Hey there, friends. Today I want to do a little quick talk about the idea of suppleness. And I kind of put categories like mobility, flexibility, strength, balance, biomechanics, all these things. I can kind of categorize them all into this idea of suppleness. And that's has to do with the way that you move, the quality of your movement, the unrestricted, smooth movement, that I learned mostly from doing Qigong and Tai Chi, but I incorporated it into all my kind of movement, even if I'm doing your basic gym type stuff with weights or whatever. I try to have a quality to the movement that I don't hold my breath. I use, big range of motion often, full deep squat or arms fully overhead. Never locking out joints or forcing anything, but just moving through a big range and having strength and good quality movement through that full range. And through that kind of movement and that mindset, you create suppleness in your body over time. So I want to lead you through 3 quick exercises that are good exercises to use to kind of try to train this idea of suppleness, this idea of quality of motion that has real coordination to it, and it has everything in your body from head to toe, arm to arm, is moving in coordination together, is fully integrated. So let's just go over 3 little exercises that you can try on your own and see if you can create this quality of motion. So the first one we're going to do is one we call knee rotations. I get my feet parallel facing forward. I put my hands on my knees and I try to start getting these circles. Now, as you can see, the motion is focused into the knees. We use this a lot for ankle mobility, ankle issues. And then there's motion going all over into the hips, the low back, and really in the whole body. But when I teach this one, now I've been doing this one for 10 to 12 years, and when I teach it, it's a simple exercise, but I rarely find anyone that can do it smoothly. All right? So let's switch the rotation. You should be able to go both directions. Now I'm just looking for a smoothness of motion. I'm looking for my heels to always stay on the ground, so I'm going to show you the side view of it. Right, so one thing I find a lot is people come up on their toes, but I want the ankle mobility, the calf flexibility, the quality of motion where I never have to leave my heels from coming off the ground. All right. So let's go the other direction one more time, the first direction. And so when I circle, I squat, and when I come around, I go straight. And ideally, the motion never stops. Kind of, I think of it almost self-perpetuating. I get things in motion, and then I just keep them going with as little effort as necessary. I'll go back the other direction one more time now. So this is a good way to work on suppleness of the legs and of the whole body, but really of the ankles, knees, and hips together. And see if you can get this circle and do it smoothly without much effort. And it takes, give it time, because from my experience teaching it for 10 years, it takes even high-level athletes a while to get this down. All right. Now let's come up and let's focus right into your center, which is your pelvis, your lower back. I like to get my legs hip width or even a little bit wider, and I want to keep my knees bent, right? So from the side, my starting position will look like this. Now we call this hula hips, but it's basically belly dancing. All right, so let me come up a little closer here. Now there's two directions to go. I'm gonna pick one direction, and I'm just gonna roll my hips and pelvis in a smooth, unrestricted way. No holding my breath, no forcing anything. My knees are always staying bent, but you'll see there's a little fluctuating in the knees. My feet remain parallel facing forward. And there isn't a lot of motion going on up in like my head and neck. Now reverse it and see if you can get the same kind of coordination going the other way too. We use this clinically a lot for low back, hip, spine issues. I think it's a great exercise to be used for any injury, and it's just really healthy for your pelvis, your low back, your center, your gravitational center. It's really healthy to be able to have this kind of a quality of movement, to create this suppleness, this mobility, this flexibility in there. Now let's go back the other way. I'm going to show you a side view. And what I want to point out is how I pull everything under here. That's one thing I often have to point out to people is I really want you to pull your tailbone here under so you create this space in your lower back. It's like you're pulling your pelvis and your tailbone, your sacrum, away from your lower vertebra. All right? And now one more time, let's go back the other direction. And you can play with speeds of this. Often we'll get it going where it's going very fast, but I think most everything is learned better, done slow. So right now I'd focus on big range of motion, nice and slow, not tensing or pulling your abs in or anything too much. Just belly dancing. You know, when you dance to music and you let yourself go and you don't overthink, that's when you can create suppleness in your body. So try to keep that same kind of mindset when you do this sort of exercise, and even when you're in the gym doing strength training. Okay, my third exercise for you. Feet are a little wider than hip width, parallel facing forward, knees bent, arms come up. Now it looks like this. Now let me talk you through this. As I'm reaching with my right hand here, I'm going to look to my right. And I'm reaching with my left hand, I'm going to look to my left. And the visual here is that something's pulling me to this side and my body follows it. My waist turns. And then something's pulling me to the other side. My waist turns with it. So it's a full body motion. My shoulders are rotating opposites, so left arm rotating up or externally rotating, right arm rotating down or internally rotating. But I want to try to get this shearing action through my ribs and spine. There's a rotation, but there's a shear sideways. And my waist is turning in that direction. My belly button center. Now my belly button turns a little to my left, comes back center, turns a little to my right, comes back center. Now let's breathe with it. Exhale. Inhale back. Exhale. Inhale back. Exhale. Inhale back. Exhale. Big motion, but not strained. Don't try for too much. Remember, in a lot of ways, less is more. Here we're looking to train quality of motion rather than how strong are you, how far can you reach. A couple more now. Exhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Let your shoulders relax. Let your body come to a balanced center. Feet shoulder width, parallel, knees relaxed, tailbone relaxed, top of the head lifting lightly up, shoulders hanging off of the torso. Feel your connection with the earth and the floor. Feel the connection of the top of the head to the sky lifting up. Spine nice and upright. Couple breaths in and out of your nose, into the belly. And take this idea of suppleness into your everyday. Thank you.